Sometimes, in passing, I'll hear tell of a town or city in the US with a pretty odd name. I'm not even talking about well known cities like Little Rock, Arkansas, or even Newport News, Virginia, although those are pretty strange and different. No, the town names we're looking at today get much, much weirder. The vast majority of place names in the US are pretty tame and normal. You can have an entire state filled with normal city names like Riverside, California, named for being located, well, beside a river, or Oakland, California, named for its abundance of oak trees, or even Thousand Oaks, California, also named for its abundance of oak trees. But when it comes to a town like Rough and Ready, California, population 963, where'd they get that one from? Well, in this video, I'm gonna fill you in on the backstories behind dozens of weirdly named cities around the US. And if you're new to the channel, this is Fourth Place, your place to learn about US geography, urbanism, transportation, and city planning. First, since I already planted the seed, I ought to talk about how Rough and Ready, California got its peculiar name. The town's name is derived from the name of a mining company called the Rough and Ready Company, which was founded by a group of miners from Wisconsin who settled in the area in 1849 during the California Gold Rush. The company was named in honor of General Zachary Old Rough and Ready Taylor, who was a popular figure at the time for being a hero of the Mexican-American War. Oh, and 1849 also happened to be the year Old Rough and Ready Taylor was elected the 12th President of the United States, so he was an all-around popular guy back then. President Taylor's nickname reflected his straightforward, rugged, and determined character, qualities that the Midwestern miners admired and sought to emulate in their own endeavors. The nickname originally came about in his days fighting in the Mexican-American War, where Major General Taylor was notable for his willingness to share the hardships of field duty with his men. How generous. The town of Rough and Ready grew around the Rough and Ready Company's mining operations, and the name stuck, becoming one of the most distinctive town names in California's history. Interestingly, Rough and Ready is also known for its brief secession from the Union in 1850, when the town declared itself the Great Republic of Rough and Ready due to dissatisfaction with mining taxes and government regulations. The secession only lasted a few months though, and the town rejoined the Union on July 4th, 1850, just 5 days before then-President Rough and Ready Taylor's sudden and tragic death. Alright, Rough and Ready is kinda weird, but I need weirder. Where to next? Well, I could talk about the town of Hell, Michigan, which allegedly got its name from the hell-like conditions encountered by early explorers, including mosquitoes, thick forest cover, and extensive wetlands. But that's only a well-regarded theory, not fact. If I bring up Hell, Michigan, I might as well bring up Satan's Kingdom, Vermont, which is thought to have gotten its name from an angry settler who reached the area expecting fertile, rolling hills, but arrived greeted with nothing but unsuitable rocky soil. Not to be confused with Satan's Kingdom, Massachusetts, an unincorporated village said to either be named after venomous snakes and other dangerous wildlife in the area, or after a resident of nearby Northfield, Massachusetts, who walked out of a church where a sermon about the fires of hell had just been given and saw a forest fire across the Connecticut River, and observed that Satan's kingdom was burning. What the hell is going on up there in New England? Let's move as far away as possible from there to the Pacific Northwest, introducing a different genre of weird city names, like Concrete, Washington. Now, Concrete got its name from the cement industry that shaped the area's development. Originally made up of two separate towns, Baker and Cement City, the area grew around two major cement plants, the Washington Portland Cement Company in Cement City and the Superior Portland Cement Company in Baker. After the Superior Portland Cement Company plant was built in Baker in 1908, it was decided to merge the two industrious towns. Inhabitants of the new community settled on the name Concrete, and the town was christened and officially incorporated on May 8, 1909. Another rabbit hole of a city name can be found in Lake Buena Vista, Florida. It seems pretty normal at first glance, but upon further investigation, you'll soon find out that Lake Buena Vista is actually home to the headquarters of Walt Disney World, and the city derives its name from Buena Vista Street in Burbank, California, where the Walt Disney Company's global headquarters is located. So they named this city in Florida after a street in Burbank, California. Actually, it turns out that this phenomenon of naming cities after companies with large presences in a certain area was actually a bit of a trend throughout the 20th century, when the term company town was coined. Most famously, the city of Hershey, Pennsylvania was named after Milton S. Hershey, the founder of the Hershey Chocolate Company. Milton Hershey established the town in the early 1900s as a part of his vision to create a model company town for his employees. Hershey purchased the land, built housing, schools, and recreational facilities, and named the town in his own honor. The town's subsequent development was closely tied to the success of the Hershey Chocolate Company, which became a central part of the community's identity. There's even a Hershey's chocolate-themed amusement park within city limits. A somewhat new development in this etymological phenomenon is Starbase, Texas, a city that Elon Musk is building on the Gulf Coast. Currently located in the unincorporated community of Boca Chica, Texas, Starbase is centered around SpaceX's launch facility, where the company is testing and launching its next-generation spacecraft, Starship. In January of 2024, Brownsville and Cameron County officials voted to officially rename Boca Chica to Starbase, Texas. Musk envisions Starbase as a spaceport of the future, potentially serving as a gateway for missions to Mars and beyond, and he foresees much population growth in the area in the decades to come. The city is designed to support the growing operations of SpaceX and will include residential areas, infrastructure, and amenities for employees and residents. But no city takes the idea of company towns quite as literally as headquarters, Idaho. The town of Headquarters served as the central administration hub, or headquarters, for the Potlatch Lumber Company. Established in the early 20th century, the town was created to support the company's logging operations in the surrounding forests. Talking about company towns is fun and all, and as we've seen, it can get a bit weird, but let's get even weirder. Like towns named after frickin' food weird. It's more common than you may think. Starting off only slightly peculiar is the town of Orange, California, which was named after the orange groves that once dominated the area in the mid to late 1800s. This was also the case for Plum, Texas, named after the area's wild plum trees. In fact, there's almost too many of these to count. Raisin City, California, Strawberry, Arizona, Nectar, Alabama, Chicken, Alaska, Cucumber, West Virginia, Turkey, Texas, Almond, North Carolina, Walnut, California. I mean, at this point, you wouldn't know if the original settlers of these places were trying to name a town or make some sort of salad dish, and maybe the paperwork got mixed in with some receipts. I don't know. Things are getting a little weird around here. Am I right? What's even more interesting is food name places named after stuff that doesn't even grow in nature, such as, Burnt Corn, Alabama. Now, legends vary about how this unincorporated community received its name, but some say it was named by white settlers for the piles of toasted corn left by Creek Native American bands traveling through the area. But I still think we can get even weirder, like the towns of Candy Kitchen and Pie Town in New Mexico. Apparently, during the Prohibition, local moonshine makers wanted to put the cops off the scent of their business, so they decided to hide under the cover of pie shops and candy stores, and in the end, the towns adopted those names. And how about Bacon Level, Alabama, which is said to have gotten its name from a group of pioneer travelers who had their camp robbed and provisions taken, and they were told where the outlaws were, up the trail where the trail leveled out. They supposedly found their missing bacon at the level spot, which is how the town got its name. Strange. And there's also the town of Coffee Creek, Montana, named after the nearby Coffee Creek, a stream known for its dark, coffee brown waters. Gross. Alright, thankfully, at least there's no town names in the US that would get me potentially demonetized if I even so much as mention them, right? All right, that's enough. Thank you. Nothing to see here, YouTube. Nothing to see here. Well, wait. You clicked on this video for explanations, and damn it, I'm gonna give them to you. This place, according to one Auhey County historian, was named after a pioneer settler named, and I'm not joking here, Mr. Dick Shooter, who settled in the remote area near the Idaho-Nevada border. This town was named after Native Americans who would play stickball there to settle tribal disputes, and that's not to be confused with the unincorporated community of the same name in Tennessee, of course. Originally called Edgewood, this town allegedly got its unusual name due to a kerfuffle involving a store owner and a postman. The store owner allegedly cheated the postman by charging him an extra 50 cents for a better watermelon. In retaliation, the postman renamed the town Tightwad, which has to be my favorite origin in this video thus far. This city in Tennessee got its name in a fairly straightforward manner due to the split by US Route 45 along its north-south route into US 45 west towards Humboldt and US 45 east towards Milan. The name reflects the three directions one can take on Highway 45 from the city, towards either Jackson, Humboldt, or Milan. Speaking of Milan, let's talk about US cities named after European cities, starting with Milan, which actually has nothing to do with Milan, Italy, and everything to do with a southern accent. The city's name is actually pronounced Milan and originated in the 1850s when a Louisville and Nashville railroad surveyor asked landowner Beverly A. Williamson who owned the land, and Williamson replied, "It's my land." Hence the name Milan. It's just another theory though, but it's probably the most wholesome and interesting entry in the US cities named after European cities chapter of this video. And there's really nothing interesting to say about the next entries on this list. Paris, Texas was named after Paris, France. London, Kentucky was named after London, England, and so on and so forth. There's like 20 cities in the US named Lisbon alone. It's kind of crazy. But I know what you're thinking. What about the cities named after countries? And yeah, that's apparently a thing in the good old US of A. Like the ever so patriotic town of Canadian, Texas, which was named after the nearby Canadian River, the longest tributary of the Arkansas River, and which got its name sometime in the 1820s when a group of French traders noted that another group of traders from Canada had camped on the river sometime before them. But that's just one long-held theory of a few. And let me also introduce you to the glorious, allegedly non-dictatorial city of China, Texas. China was named so because it hosted a water stop for the Texas and New Orleans Railroad that was situated in a grove of chinaberry trees. And there's also Germany, Texas, named after the country, and Sudan, Texas, which is a bit of an unknown to this day. And actually a ton more cities that share names with other countries, which is a bit weird to me. But what about cities that don't fit into a weird categorical box, like Atomic City, Idaho? Most locals agree that the city got its name because of a nearby national reactor testing station, which housed the world's first electricity generating nuclear power plant. There's also Truth or Consequences, New Mexico, which is a rather creative entry. In 1950, popular NBC radio host Ralph Edwards challenged American cities to rename themselves after his quiz show. Hot Spring, New Mexico promptly accepted the challenge and became Truth or Consequences, the name of the show. This kind of thing makes me wonder, do the people who make these decisions just not give a or were they given way too much power and just said, why not? Well, perhaps this was the case, at least with the town of Why Not, North Carolina. Legend has it that during a meeting to choose a name for the new town, one community member, exhausted that they couldn't agree on a name, said, "Why not name the town Why Not and let's go home?" See, now that's the weird energy I'm looking for. And I guess if I bring up why not, I also have to bring up why Arizona. Yes, literally why. Named after the fact that two major highways, State Routes 85 and 86, originally intersected in a Y intersection in the area. At the time of its naming, state law required all city names to have at least 3 letters, so the town's founders named the town Y as opposed to simply calling it the letter Y. And the town of Uncertain, Texas certainly doesn't disappoint. Being at the border between Texas and Louisiana, one theory posits that it was named after the fact that settlers were uncertain which state the land was actually located in. But another theory states that the town derives its name from the original application for township, where the name for it had not been decided. Therefore, when the original residents filled out the application, they put uncertain in the blank for the name, and it forever stuck. And in a similar vein, No Name, Colorado was allegedly named by residents when a highway exit opened up near their settlement, and they were forced by officials to give their no-name town a name incredibly quickly. They couldn't come up with a name in time, so they became No Name. And there's also Ding Dong, Texas, named after the fact that the town is located in Bell County. Get it? Like ding dong, like ringing a bell. But this one just has to be the weirdest. One theory on how the unincorporated community of Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky got its unique name is that when looking at it from the air or on a map of Ballard County, it supposedly resembles a monkey's head. Monkey's Eyebrow, Kentucky is located where the hypothetical monkey's eyebrow would be located. And well, I can't think of a better place to end this video on than that. A town named after a hypothetical and imaginary monkey's eyebrow. And yes, I did Google if monkeys have eyebrows, and no, they do not. There are so many more places in this video that were cut for time, so if you're interested in a part 2 or even a part 3 to this video, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below weird towns with weird names you'd like me to uncover in a future video. What's the weirdest named town you've ever visited? Let me know down below. I'll see you next week from 4th place.